entitled "Girl Blocks Our Driveway." The usual BS with an entitled Karen. Couple of houses on the street are having renovation work done, so street parking is tighter than usual. Our driveway is very visible. Prominent curb cut, brick pavers that start at the sidewalk. You really cannot miss it. I come home from running a couple of errands and a Subaru is parked across our entire, and I mean entire, driveway. They couldn't have centered their car any better if they tried. So I grab another spot and schlep my shit into the house. Couple minutes later I see a couple leaving the rental across the street and getting into the car. They're not renters there, maybe just visiting. I'm not a complete asshat, and I like the neighbors that live there. So I step onto the porch, get their attention and in a very nice tone of voice, give them the "Hey folks, just a heads up if you're back. You're parked in my driveway." The dude looks up, sees they were clearly in the wrong and says, "Oh sorry man. I didn't even notice. My bad." Which, meh, if that's how poorly you pay attention, you probably shouldn't even be driving. But I let it slide. Karen on the other hand. "Don't worry about it, we're not parking here." Yeah, you dumb shit. You are parked there. But I'm still being at least a little nice. Well, whether you're staying or not, you're still blocking my driveway. It's not a big deal, you don't have to be a dick about it. If I wanted to be a dick, you'd know it. Well, we're not parking here, so you don't have anything to bitch about. Me being nice. Do you see that silver car parked right there? I had to park there because you were already blocking my fucking driveway. So once again, you are currently fucking parked here. Dude apologizes again, tells Karen to STFU and just get in the car. We share a little nod and away they go. I'm kind of hoping that they visit more so I can just have her towed next time. Definitely tow next time. People like this are so insufferable. You were a lot nicer than my fiance would have been rolling on the floor laughing. That happened to me one time. A neighbor was having a party and people were parking all over the place. Someone decided it would be okay to block my driveway. Well, my husband opened their car door, fortunately it wasn't locked, released the parking brake and pushed their car into the middle of the street, then locked the door. Then he called the police to complain about a car parked in the middle of the road blocking traffic. The car was quickly towed by the police. I used to live near a movie theater and dealt with this every damn weekend. Some jerks blocked me in from driving to my weekend job waiting tables. Others blocked me out from parking when I came home after my shift. I towed every single one of those idiots who parked across the driveway. Nobody is that blind or distracted. They just choose to roll the dice. I love how almost every time it's one of these situations, you have a couple where one is maybe absent-minded and half apologizes while the other one acts like they're above you. I'm always wondering how good the sex has to be for the former to stick around with the latter. Based on their reactions, I'm betting she told him to park there and he didn't want to. He's probably embarrassed, so said he didn't notice, but she probably told him not to worry because they won't get caught. We're not parking here, however. They stopped the car, put it in park, turned off the engine, and walked away. That's called parking. Perfect use of expletives after initial reasonable contact. 9.810. Slight deduction for not punching Karen in the face. Not the asshole next time. You just get their car towed and they can pay for it. It's that simple. You don't park in someone else's driveway. I hate people who block my driveway. Hate with a perfect hate. The landscapers for the property next door used to park in front of my driveway and thought I was crazy when I complained to them. So on the third occasion I called the owner of the company. They haven't parked there since. My daughter and her son used to live a block or so from a zoo. Often people would fill their driveway or block it. The landlord finally put in a fence with a locked gate. People still parked in front of the gate. We had a warehouse that was in a busy part of town. People would park in front of the dock door where there were signs and cones that blocked the road. They would just run the cones over and park there. There happened to be a forklift just behind the door. The favorite relocation spot was between a culvert and a retention wall. 100. Call a tow truck. It's easy money for M. I have a 4x4 truck and keep a tow strap handy in case I or someone else needs assistance. If there was a next time, I would strap up their car and drag it down the block, leaving it in the middle of the street. I know you could damage their vehicle. Blah 3. It would be worth it. When I was a kid, I lived across the street from an elementary school. One of the lunch supervisors decided it'd be okay to block our driveway daily. My mom warned her once and next time had the vehicle towed as she had to go to work. The lunch supervisor then made it her mission to make mine and my brother's lives hell. She went so far as to tell the principal that my brother got into a fight during lunch and the principal called my mom to inform her that he was suspended. Too bad that my brother was at home sick that day, so he couldn't have been in a fight. She terrorized us until we left the school. People do this shit near me on weekends all the time. I'll just be driving out as they park and let them know blocking the driveway, and they're always like, no need to be a dick, as they turn around and have to walk back and move their car. It's not worth the drama of engaging. I'm just going to start calling towing. I feel like the best and most civil approach would have been staring them down as you piss all over their car. Never bother talking to people who block your driveway. They clearly saw it and didn't care. It's always better to call a tow because you know for a fact they will never try that again. Not park behind them, then head off to the pub. Happens to me all the time in LA. Parking enforcement gives two options: a ticket, which might take 2 hours for someone to come out and write, or tow, and the truck shows up in about 15 minutes. Tow first, chit chat later. For real. People are so entitled. If I realized that I had accidentally parked like that, I would be so embarrassed and apologize for my mistake. We had a neighbor who didn't have a driveway. She would just pull into ours and block us in. And we asked her many times not to do that, but she kept getting annoyed and rude, telling us I have small kids and it's snowing or it was raining, etc. So we had her car towed. You should have had them towed. For those saying tow it, remember that they don't make it easy. Most tow companies won't deal with street parking because cities, towns often have contracts with tow companies and they have to go through steps to get it done. Someone once blocked me in by parking across my driveway, and by the time the tow driver arrived, hours later, the car driver had already shown up and left. When the car driver and his GF showed up, I yelled at them for the length of time that it took to get in and drive away. They both refused to make eye contact or acknowledge me at all. Some people just can't be wrong. I finally painted lines in the street for the city's okay. I got so sick of dealing with people blocking my driveway. I didn't paint them the 5 feet from the edge that is the law. I did about 2 feet because I just want some room to turn. I've had to call the cops because people would rather argue about how I can get around them than just move your car some. I've had 2 cars towed, many ticketed, when neither of your neighbors has a driveway, along with a few other houses, and your side is on street parking. I have dealt with this a lot. I don't say anything anymore to people. I just call parking enforcement. Tow. Woman does rude things and is rude after. Man does rude things and apologizes after, and then goes around telling people don't ask permission. Ask forgiveness. The guy seemed reasonable, so I would have turned to him and said, "Is she really the best you could do?" He would have laughed, but she would be seeing red. Assuming it's a public street, you definitely could have had them ticketed or towed by local law enforcement. If you wanted to be a dick like Karen, I'd totally do it if they block your driveway. Again, except for the fact you already pointed out your own car if Karen wanted to retaliate. That poor dude, imagine his life, tears of joy. Definitely have Karen towed the next time. She's been warned. They didn't park there if they only stayed a few minutes. Right? Did they leave their hazards on? That means it's okay to leave it. It means they aren't officially parked. Tow them immediately next time. Shit ass Karen, cool dude. Good on you, op. Oh yeah, definite tow truck time if they do that again. Was her name actually Karen? Why don't we just be grown-ups and call her what she actually is? An entitled cunt. If they park in your driveway again, wait a few minutes. Get out there with a measuring tape, notepad and a calculator. Make a real production of it. Measure. Writing stuff down. If possible, get hold of log table, working out trajectory. Furiously tapping numbers into the calculator. You get the idea. I'll be bloody surprised if one of them doesn't come out and ask what's going on. I'm working out trajectories for my trebuchet. I plan on landing your car on an empty block of land about 3 blocks away. Point in a random direction as you say this part. I live in an apartment complex that has a marked no parking area for emergency vehicles. A neighbor regularly lets his booty call park there overnight. All these driveway blocker stories are just gonna ensure I go straight to the tow company the first time someone pulls this shit, lol. The second you see their car pull up, have them towed. I would have called a towing company to come remove the car that was blocking my driveway. They move it or I'll have it moved after asking nicely for it to be moved. Poor guy. I hope he can find a way to navigate life with that person. Let the air out of their tires, then call a tow truck to haul it off. Why can't people just acknowledge they fucked up, apologize, and move on? Why do they not only commit what is clearly a dick move, but when politely confronted, insist on their right to commit that dick move? I probably answered my own question in there somewhere. Anyway, this attitude drives me spare and you handled it brilliantly. I feel ya neighbors had a yard sale and someone blocked my driveway. Several years ago I needed to leave and ask the people at the yard sale whose car it was. Woman pipes up and says I'll be done in a minute. And I replied that I didn't have a minute. I needed to drop my then baby off at daycare and get to work. She huffed and puffed but she moved her car. The neighbors apologized for her. Of course I wasn't upset with them. Look into towing requirements rules now so you can immediately deal with them next time. I just like the way you painted that. I love the guy, the first, hate the lady. Haha. They usually ran their mouth because they have backup. Consider this as their first and only warning. Next time would be a call for a tow. Go for the tow. Karen's upping the karma retribution bonus. Look for the car and tow it. Park your car at the end of the driveway and block them in tears of joy, tears of joy. Then don't answer the door and pretend you were in the yard. My neighbors, exactly. I told them I was going to chainsaw off their wing mirrors if they didn't stop. Just tow it, she will learn. She probably bullied him into parking there in the first place. Or at least call the police and have them ticketed. Though towed will likely hurt worse. I would call the tow truck first. Around here the tow truck is faster than the police. That guy has got to be miserable. I don't know if this is just an urban legend, but I like to think it actually happened. When I was a kid, I heard a story about a guy who lived a block away from the beach and was fed up with one car in particular which was always parking in his driveway. When he finally had enough, he and some friends, I assume, laid bricks encasing that car inside the new standalone garage. I used to live a couple of blocks away from a university where it's majority rich students. Entitled people all over. One person decides to park his convertible behind my driveway so perfectly that we could not get our car out. The idiot left his top down. I knocked on every door in the area, and every time I found a college-aged male who said that wasn't their car but they sympathized. I encouraged them to go up and pee into the driver's seat since the top was down. Several drunk guys took me up on the offer. That car will never smell the same again. Sounds like the dude needs to help his girl release some pent-up stress. Is Karen really the correct term here? Asking honestly. That sounds like an aggressive few drinks deep response to something that was on its way to being resolved before she had her piece. Is the Karen reaction all kinds of huffy BS when something isn't going exactly their way? I always felt the connotation was that Karen is ready to escalate their concerns to someone in a higher position, to a superior person who would be more on their level than the current respondent. Thoughts? He need to keep his hoe on a leash. Bitches runnin' wild, man. Michael Scott. Pour sugar down her gas tank, she'll be permanently parked somewhere down the road rolling on the floor laughing winking face. I wondered why you didn't call a tow truck already. Poor guy. That's why. He didn't deserve that. It was probably her mouth running that had him so goofed up he did it in the first place. Karens can really mess with a guy's head. They are not able to see through her garbage till the ring is on the finger or a baby is on the way. Then, being the honorable guys they are, they just stick with it for a lifetime of the same since they got it so wrong the first time. Poor guys. Slash her tires. Removed by Reddit. Slash tires. Op was out of line. The guy apologized. OP just wanted to act tough and take it further. Learn to be humble next time? Man shrugging light skin tone. Which, meh. If that's how poorly you pay attention, you probably shouldn't even be driving. But I let it slide. How many Karens here? We share a little nod and away they go. This did not happen. They shouldn't have parked there to begin with. But this is either obtuse communication understanding or OP just wanted to argue. This scenario made me think they ran in to grab something hoping OP wouldn't get home before they left. She should have said, "We're moving it." But since they were getting in the car, OP had to have known that was what was happening. It seems like OP wanted to argue because they were already mad. If this was Am I the asshole? I would say eesh. They were leaving. Way to assert your passive-aggressive dominance over a woman you don't know. What a stud. Even in your attempt to not sound like a dick you sounded like a dick. Not that you were wrong, I just don't understand why you are trying to act like you weren't. They were completely in the wrong. But you were definitely looking for confrontation and found it. Just own it. You're being a Karen just identifying her that way. Stop it. Easy solution. Walk straight up to the dude and fuck him up. I come home from running a couple of errands. People really talk like this. OMG. You had to park a few meters away. Talk about entitled. Better than me, I would have kindly gave them 4 flats. That girl needs a fucking stitch her mouth shut. Like I've never read something that's made me so fucking mad. Definitely call for a tow truck the next time your entitled neighbor parks in your driveway. Never hesitate to tow a car that blocks your driveway. That would be epic. Towing her the next you know she would totally do it just to prove her dominance. You're nicer than I am. I'd have had them towed immediately. I'm petty and mean. I'd have called to have it towed. You park in such way that blocks my driveway and inconveniences me. I will definitely make sure you are inconvenienced and the cost of the tow. Some people need to be put in their place. Every city usually has parking enforcement number to call for this scenario. I'm gonna guess he didn't notice he parked in front of your driveway because she was bitching in his ear. My first thought was someone to tow that car off or proprietary. Call the police. Not sure if it's the case where you are, but here blocking a driveway will get a fairly quick response and they'll come tow it away. Or just park so that you're blocking them in. And then wait until you have to go somewhere again to move your car. I love how people who are literally in the act of inconveniencing you have the gall to tell you what isn't a big deal. This is why 9 times out of 10, I don't even wait to call a tow. You being blind and or stupid is not my fault. And I guess it's only a big deal once your shit is gone. But that would be Karen's problem. Not mine. Mouthy ass bitch. Should have just had them towed. At least the dude understood the situation and was trying to shut up Karen. I'd definitely have it towed as soon as I see it there again. The best part was dude her to STFU. He knew she was being an ass. Oh yes, and if you do, please update us. Yes, tow them. Rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing. Put any vehicle blocking this driveway will be towed at the owner's expense sign there. Next time, call a tow truck. People need to learn tone responsible for their actions. Guy smiling face raised back of hand. Karen ogre never understand why some men chose these people. Check in on a few things. Make sure if you call for a tow, that they won't need a police ticket first. Where I live you call code enforcement, they get a written warning and you have just made it legal to have the car towed without a word next time. Do WTF just tow LMAO. Wet erase liquid chalk marker. Write on window to tow as it instructions for a tow truck. They will get the message quickly. People's entitlements are getting out of hand. Bet if you were parked blocking her drive it would be a different story. Fucking people. Well, block the driveway, get a free trip to the tow yard. If you're getting it towed you might as well make it so it has to be towed. Wheel cooking knife satisfaction. My neighbor has a couple friends who always park in front of our driveway too. It's especially annoying because the neighbors 99 of the time have a spot open in their driveway. I appreciate the gusto in which you interacted with this potato of a person. Carry on. I wouldn't have asked. I would have towed it off rip. Fuck these asshats for illegally parking and impeding your ability to leave your house. Any tow truck driver would have been there in a second with a raging money boner to take care of the problem. If your car is stopped and the gear is in park, you are parked there. It doesn't have to be overnight in order to count as parking. Def tow next time. I hate that it has to be an option. But I had an issue years ago with someone blocking our driveway and we ended up having to tow the car at 7 a.m. to be able to get our cars out to go to work. We got a nasty note from them after that. But never had another problem upside down face. I deal with this daily. Where I live was once a mine town. So houses are cramped with a front house back house that are often double block homes. And there's never near enough parking. I am fortunate enough that my home, whom I share with my brother, has a backyard and driveway to park our vehicles. Daily I have people just visiting or just dropping something off and they end up there for at least 30 minutes at a clip. Well, it's gone on so long that if the vehicle is no longer running I just call to have it towed as I have my driveway properly marked and signed. Tow trucks are hungry. Most will come quickly for blocked residential driveways. I wonder if she's related to the woman who told me she wasn't parked but waiting while blocking flow of traffic in a parking lot. Lady sat in the same spot blocking traffic for at least 5 minutes waiting for a space to open in front of a building. Dude, if I get home from work and someone is parked in front of my driveway, I'm going to every damn house until I find the owner and make them move. They will know I'm not happy. You mean not towed, since they're not parked there. Crossing fingers for ya. Karen is the reason my kids' school had to change their no parking signs to no stopping signs. You were kind. With all that renovation going on, couldn't you find a brick laying around? When Karen says, "Don't be a dick about it," or "You don't have to be such a bitch," it is pure projection. If they had the self-awareness to know they were wrong in the first place, they wouldn't even spew such BS. Am I wrong to hope you get the chance to have them towed? My spouse bent the license plate of the person who was blocking our driveway. They didn't do it again. And they had to get a new license plate, lol. If I'm not wrong, isn't it illegal to block a driveway? Oh, so I can rob a bank saying I'm not robbing a bank and it's okay? Cool.